Nightmares are occurring more often. Strange things are happening around the house. Now you can't even tell from a dream to a reality. So you're out of options. You just want to jam to some music and enjoy the pool party. But let's see if Jesse Walsh can fight off Freddy Krueger from taking over him while saving the people he loved. In this condensed version of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. The film begins with students being dropped off at their designated stop. Eventually, only 3 students remain on the bus when one of them informs the driver that it's her stop. The driver then ignores her. Instead, he accelerates the bus and continues on driving. The driver is now seen wearing a dark green and red striped sweater and a glove with metal knife. As the bus speeds up even more, it veers off the road into the desert and comes to an immediate halt. 3 remaining students begin to panic and cry out for help, but there is no one around to hear them. It is then revealed that the ground beneath them has vanished, leaving the bus dangerously perched between 2 rock pillars. From the driver's seat, Freddy Krueger reveals himself, dragging his clawed glove across the seats as he slowly approaches the terrified students. His movements cause one of the rock pillars supporting the bus to crack, making the bus sway dangerously. The 3 students huddle in a corner, desperately seeking safety. As Freddy closes in, he slashes at them, jolting Jesse Walsh awake from his nightmare. Back at Jesse's house, his family sits around a table for breakfast. Jesse mentions to his dad that his room is too hot and he's been struggling to sleep because of it. His dad assures him that he'll eventually fix that air conditioning. Meanwhile, Jesse's little sister is digging through a Fu Manchu cereal box looking for the prize, which is a set of fake fingers. When she puts them on, it startles Jesse as it reminds him of Freddy's sharp razor claws from the nightmare. The doorbell suddenly rings, and Jesse quickly gets up to answer it. Meeting up with his friend Lisa Weber, the 2 of them head off to school together. During gym class, Jesse gets into a scuffle with Ron Grady during a heated baseball game. Later in the locker room, the 2 start talking, and Jesse mentions that he recently moved into the big house with bars on the windows. Grady responds by saying that moving there was a terrible idea. He explains that the previous family's daughter went insane because her mother kept her locked inside the house. Grady also claims she witnessed her boyfriend being brutally murdered by a maniac across the street. Skeptical of Grady's stories, Jesse just brushes him off and leaves. Later that night, as Jesse lies in bed struggling to sleep, he hears strange noises coming from the basement. Curious and uneasy, he decides to investigate. Quietly, he makes his way around the house and peeks through a window, catching a glimpse of Freddy tending to something burning in the furnace. Unsure if what he saw was real, he goes back inside and cautiously opens the basement door. To his horror, someone is indeed down there. Jesse calls out for his dad, but before he can react further, Freddy suddenly appears before him, fiercely grabbing Jesse and tells him he needs him, declaring that he wants his body. To emphasize his words, Freddy gruesomely pulls back the skin from his head, exposing part of his brain. Jesse screams out in terror, shaking himself awake from the nightmare. The following day, while Jesse is cleaning his room, Lisa unexpectedly stops by to help him, catching him doing some suspicious activities. As they sort through his things, Lisa discovers Nancy Thompson's old diary hidden in his closet. Curious, Jesse opens it and reads a passage out loud, how Freddy comes for her with his steel claws and wants to eliminate her in the boiler room. The eerie entry unsettles both of them. Concerned, Lisa asks Jesse if he's okay. Jesse shares what Grady told him about the girl who went insane while living in this house. Together, they begin to wonder if the chilling story might actually be true. The following evening, Jesse wakes to find the items in his room distorted and melted. Disturbed, he makes his way to the basement and cautiously opens the furnace. Inside, he discovers a rag wrapped around something. Unfolding it, he finds Freddy's steel claws. Suddenly, the fire in the furnace roars to life as Freddy appears, urging Jesse to put the glove on and kill for him. Terrified, Jesse shakes his head and tries to back away, but stumbles and falls. When he glances back at the furnace, Freddy has vanished, but the steel claws remain, lying ominously beside him. The next evening at Jesse's house, the family complains to his dad about the unbearable heat, comparing it to living inside a furnace. Suddenly, the birdcage begins shaking violently, drawing everyone's attention. When Jesse checks, he sees one of the birds attacking and killing the other. The crazed bird then escapes the cage and starts flying erratically around the room, attempting to attack the family. During the chaos, Jesse's dad is scratched by one of the bird's frenzied swoops. Just as quickly as it began, the bird suddenly bursts into flames, leaving the family stunned and in complete disbelief. Later Later that evening, Jesse, still in his pajamas, sleepwalks and wanders into a bar. His school coach spots him there and as punishment takes him back to the gym, forcing him to run a couple of laps. Afterward, the coach instructs him to hit the shower. While Jesse is showering, strange activities begin in the coach's office. Sports balls fly off the shelves and jump ropes start moving on their own. It even binds the coach's hands and drags him into the showers. As the room fills up with steam, Jesse watches in horror as Freddy's form emerges from the mist and moves towards the coach. Freddy gruesomely eliminates him, but as the steam clears, Jesse is horrified to find himself holding the steel claw. Realizing what he's done, he screams in panic, overwhelmed by fear and confusion. The subsequent morning, Jesse hurriedly rushes off to school while his concerned mother tries to help, suspecting he might be on drugs. At school, Grady informs Jesse that their coach was destroyed the previous night, leaving Jesse terrified as he realized the murders are happening in the real world and he might be responsible. As night falls, Jesse wakes up to hear Freddy's claw glove rattling in his desk drawer, calling out to him, urging him to commit more murders on Freddy's behalf. He is then drawn to the next room, where a young girl can be seen and heard jump roping while singing Freddy's eerie "1, 2, Freddy's coming for you" song, heightening Jesse's fear. These strange occurrences in the house make him feel like he's losing a grip on reality. As daylight approaches, Lisa and Jesse visits the abandoned power plant where Freddy used to work, hoping to uncover clues about what's been going on. Lisa reveals that she discovered Freddy abducted and slaughtered 20 children here. Despite their efforts, they find no useful answers at the power plant, leaving them still baffled and deeply unsettled about the events unfolding around them. Afterwards, Jesse heads to Grady's house, asking if he can stay the night. He confesses that he's in deep trouble and that he was responsible for the coach's death, but insists it wasn't truly him, it was something else controlling him. He explains that the force behind the killings made him go into the sister's room and even influence his actions when he was at Lisa's house. However, he was able to regain control both times before anything worse could happen. Grady, concerned, thinks Jesse is losing his mind. Jesse pleads with him, telling him he's serious and that he believes something is trying to take over his body. He insists that Grady stay awake and watch him while he sleeps so he doesn't hurt anyone else. Suddenly, Jesse's hands begins to transform into Freddy's deadly claw. As he screams in agony, Freddy's eyes can be seen through Jesse's mouth. Grady, in panic, cries out for help, shouting out for his dad. In that moment, Freddy emerges from Jesse's body and destroys Grady before his dad can arrive in time to help him. Freddy is then seen sinisterly taunting him. Jesse is left covered in blood. Shocked, he catches a glimpse of Freddy in the mirror, and in that moment of defiance, hurls the clawed gloves back at him, shattering the mirror. And now, in a rush of fear, Jesse quickly flees the scene before the police arrive. Lisa is hosting a pool party when she finds Jesse hiding out in a guest house. He opens up to her, confessing everything that has been happening to him. Lisa reassures him, telling him that Nancy Thompson went through something similar and that he can defeat Freddy as well. Suddenly, the windows and doors in the house slam shut and lock, while the temperature in the room starts to rise. The fish tank also shatters, and Freddy emerges from the floor. Lisa bravely strikes him, then runs for safety. Freddy easily chases her down, but she managed to grab a knife to defend herself. Then we hear Jesse's voice urging her to execute him, but Lisa hesitates, knowing that it's Freddy controlling his actions. In a final act of defiance, Jesse fights for control, and with great effort he manages to regain himself before he executes Lisa. But he does shove her out the way and run towards the back door. As he smashes through the door, he vanishes, and the locks in the house release, bringing everyone inside. Freddy soon appears in a pool area, ruthlessly eliminating guests one by one. He electrifies the fence, trapping everyone inside, and even turns the pool into a fiery inferno. The remaining guests scramble towards the fence, but Freddy taunts them, declaring that they're all his children now. Lisa's father rushes from the house with a shotgun, intending to execute Freddy, but Lisa stops him, knowing it's Freddy who's controlling Jesse's body. Jesse, seeing Lisa, is able to control Freddy just for a little bit and walks towards the gate. Then it ignites into flames as he approaches it. It seems Jesse still has some control over his body, despite Freddy's tight hold. Lisa realizes where Jesse is headed and drives to the abandoned power plant where Freddy once worked. As she arrives, two guard dogs with human faces stand watch, but they don't do anything to her and allow her in. She begins searching the area, narrowly avoiding a fall off the edge of a pathway, only to realize she never fell at all. The place is playing tricks on her reality. Freddy suddenly appears in front of her, slashing at her, but she manages to dodge his attack. She runs away, only to find herself cornered at a dead end, with Freddy closing in. Desperate, she calls out to Jesse, Jesse, telling him she knows he's still inside and that she loves him. Freddy begins to bleed, and these words from Lisa are actually helping. Determined, she tells him she's not afraid of him and that he won't take Jesse away from her. These words of affirmation is weakening Freddy's hold on Jesse. Freddy then repeats that Jesse is gone and it's only him left. But Lisa, not giving up, kisses Freddy, causing the entire place to erupt in flames. Freddy catches fire and begins to melt. As the flames die down, Jesse is finally freed from Freddy's control. It looks like true love's kiss has saved the day. As the film ends, Jesse and Lisa is catching the morning school bus. Jesse gets freaked out as the bus speeds up. Then Freddy's hand bursts out of the friend's chest as Freddy takes control of the bus. It looks like the nightmare is not over.